Hi everybody, it's Andrew Hutchings with you here today to talk about how much protein you should eat. I got this idea because the other night I ate about 140 grams of protein in one meal because I ate a pound of chicken. I chopped up about half of it in the kitchen over there, that's why I look there, and put it in a salad, and then I ate the other half of it just by itself. And it was like no big deal. I was still hungry. I had some string cheese afterwards. I actually had some chips. I ate some other things and I drank some drinks. So it wasn't like, oh my god, so much food. Why did I eat it all? It was like, I'm hungry. I'm gonna eat some chicken. And it has a lot of protein. I actually didn't even realize how much protein a pound of chicken has until I looked it up. I just figured, hey, I'll look it up, and it turned out it has 140 grams or so if it's a pound of chicken breasts. I don't know if that's exact, but I figure it's close enough. That's all that matters, and that's why I don't need to have protein drinks. Now, somebody messaged me and said, well, what about this thing about only being able to absorb 30 grams of protein in one sitting? And I remember that when I was younger. I remember being in high school and in my wrestling room, and someone mixed like a few scoops of protein powder in with their drink. And I was like, oh, that's stupid. You're just wasting the protein powder. You can only absorb 30 grams per whatever. I thought I knew it all, and it turns out that for protein powder, for whey protein powder, that may be true. Because whey protein, when it's all ground up into the powder, it absorbs really fast. Even if it's not into the powder form, it absorbs faster than other proteins, but especially if it's in the powder form, and especially if it's micronized, like a lot of it is nowadays. So whey protein powder absorbs about 3 times faster than the protein in eggs. I don't know how fast the protein in chicken absorbs, but let's just say it's somewhere slower than whey protein, probably similar to eggs. I know they're very different, but it's quite a bit slower than protein powder. And some studies have actually shown that whey protein powder at 40 grams was better than 20 grams. Well, some studies have also shown that 20 grams was the best. But what it also showed, so that the 40 grams of whey protein in some studies was better. And if, say, eggs absorb 3 times slower, then perhaps you could have about 3 times as much protein in your eggs. So it's like 120 grams. Now, personally, my gut feeling is telling me no, not quite so much. Because just because you absorb it slower doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna benefit from it equivalent to how much slower you absorb it. But it is something that needs to be kept in mind. And the studies have also shown that how much protein your body can utilize depends on how much it needs to utilize. What a shocker. So who would have thought that if you go to the gym and you work out arms, that you come home and you just eat a little protein bar, or you have some yogurt or I don't know what you're gonna have. I always choose meat as my first source of protein because, like, imagine you cut off this part of your breast, your chest, and you eat it. Well, guess what? It has everything you need to make more of this because you're literally eating it. Wow, did you ever think of that? If you want to have everything you need to build muscle, eat muscle. So yeah, if you go and you work out your biceps, you don't need to eat that much. They're not the biggest muscles, and I mean, yeah, if you take your whole bicep, that would be a lot of meat if you're gonna like eat the equivalent of your whole bicep. But when you work out, you're not tearing your entire bicep and replacing it. You're just replacing a little tiny bit of it, so you don't need to eat that much protein. But if you go to the gym and you do your deadlifts and you do squats, and you do your rows, and you do some bench press all in the same day, you're gonna need a lot more protein. So you're gonna come home and eat like 100 grams. Maybe you'll eat 140 grams. I would eat like 140, but probably if you add in everything that I eat in total, I'm gonna eat like 200 grams. That seems like a lot. Like I would have never thought that, because I always thought that I didn't eat that much protein, but I also never cared to count it. So to summarize the studies, they found that it depends on the person, depends on the age, depends on the training, and depends on where you're getting the protein from. And to be honest, after the person asked me about this morning, I didn't spend much time. I just Googled 30 grams of protein maximum absorption or something like that. Found an NCBI study, read it for about a minute or two, just scrolling through, because it was common sense. Like, if someone told you that, like, hey, I heard the moon, and I'm not trying to make fun of that guy, because like I said, I thought this too. But if someone said, hey, I thought the moon doesn't have any gravity, and you go, what? Doesn't sound right. And you know the moon has some gravity, or maybe you don't, but I do. Because everything that has mass has gravity. And the moon is pretty massive, not massive compared to the Earth or the sun, but it's a lot massive than this pencil. This pencil has gravity. You go into space, and you toss these pencils. I mean, this one's a little heavier, so gonna rotate around. But say you weren't quite sure, so you Google about it, and you don't read every single word of a many long thing because you don't need to. So yeah, I was right. Of course, the moon has gravity. So when it comes to how much protein you eat, you just gotta listen to your body. And I know that's not very scientific, and I am a man of science, but I'm also very in tune with myself. I don't need medical instruments to tell me things. Like, a very simple example, which I think everybody's in tune with their body enough to know, is if you break a bone, you don't need to go to the doctor and get an x-ray to know you broke your bone. And now, maybe some people, they could tear a tendon, and they don't know they tore the tendon. But if you're in tune with your body, you know you tore a tendon. You don't need a doctor to tell you. You don't need the science to use the machines and do the tests. I mean, it's kind of like you wouldn't need any science to tell you that you're hungry. You know if you're hungry because you're in tune with your body. Well, you don't even need to be in tune with your body to... Actually, yeah, you would. But when it comes to protein, I personally can feel it. So when coronavirus happened and food was all sold out in a lot of stores, and trying to make myself look good in the video, and there wasn't a lot of meat and stuff, I bought a big old thing of protein powder and was drinking it. Now the scooper was like in the middle of the container and I didn't want to dig through it, so I was just using a big old spoon and scooping it into my cup. And I figured, hey, a steak is like 60 grams of protein, a scoop of protein powder is like 20, so why should I only have like 1 scoop's worth? So I was putting quite a bit into my cup, probably about 3 scoops worth. And then you plus the milk, that adds up to like 75 grams total protein, but let's just say 60 grams of whey protein. Remember, the whey protein absorbs fast. And even studies have shown that around 40 seems to be the max in some people. Maybe 60 is the max in other people that they didn't study. But for me, when I would put that 60 grams in my shaker cup, I would drink it, I didn't feel right. I would stop drinking it about 80% of the way through. And even at 80% of the way through, after I drank it, I probably finished it after the 80% because I don't want to waste. But it just did not feel good. And that was a sign that it was too much protein. Because if you get 60 grams of whey protein that absorbs 3 times faster than food protein, that's a lot. That's like having 240 grams of food protein all at once. So yeah, just be in tune with your body. If you're hungry, eat eat. Like, you don't need a scientist or a fitness person to tell you how much chicken to eat. If you had chicken and potatoes and vegetables and whatever in front of you, and you're gonna eat, your body knows how much of each thing to eat. So it's gonna eat the potatoes to get some energy right away, and it's gonna eat the vegetables for various reasons, and it's gonna eat the meat for protein. Now, this may not be a perfect situation, but so your body could just eat all meat and get its calories plus its protein from the meat. Because at first I was thinking, well, wolves eat like a lot of protein, pounds and pounds and pounds. Lots of animals eat pounds and pounds and pounds of meat all in one sitting. I don't think humans, a long time ago, would find an animal and decide they're gonna like hold on to it, eat it a few hours later, they would just eat as much as they could all at once. Because you don't know when the next time is you're gonna eat, and you don't know if someone's gonna take it from you. You gotta eat when you can and get it into you. But then I was thinking, well, that's not exactly a good comparison, because you're also eating for the calories if you're only eating meat. So come back to the potato, vegetable, meat analogy, or add in some fruit, whatever you wanna add in. And your body can get easier calories from the potatoes than the meat. So naturally, you're gonna eat some potatoes for your calories, some vegetables for various reasons, and you're gonna eat some meat for protein. Because your body doesn't immediately go to meat for calories. It's not a preferential source. And think about it like this. Would you stop eating after a little tiny piece of chicken? Because, that's probably how much has like 30 grams of protein in it. I don't know exactly, but it's not very much. Or a little tiny couple ounces of steak. I don't know any man that only eats a 4-ounce steak. You're hungry. You eat 8 ounces of steak or 10 ounces of steak, or you eat a lot, and a lot of chicken. Because your body wants all that protein. I know this isn't the most scientific, but it's true. You don't need science and stuff to tell you how much protein to eat. And the reason you can have a lot of the slow releasing protein is because you don't just eat protein, absorb it, or crap it out. You eat protein and it stays in your body, circulating. Not forever, but for a while. And if it's slowly absorbing, it's circulating, some's leaving, some's more is coming in, some's leaving, some more is coming in, and it's constantly in your body, able to be used at all times. So that also would help you not to break down as much protein, like from your muscles. So I hope my videos aren't too all over the place, or not if A then B then C enough, because I don't make scripts. I could. If I should, let me know. To summarize, studies show that whey protein, which can be quickly absorbed, is best around 20 to 40 grams at a time. But they also show that protein in food absorbs much slower, and that how much protein you need depends on the person, and especially how much protein you need. As in, if you work out a ton, you need more protein than if you work out a little bit, and your body can absorb more. So yeah, humans did not evolve so that when they go and eat a whole bunch of meat, that they only absorb that much of it and use the rest for energy. It just doesn't make sense. The human body is smart. It's been evolving for a very, very long time. Why wouldn't it learn how to get as much as it can out of the food we eat? But at the end of the day, it depends on you, your body. You have to listen to your body. I eat a lot. I'm always eating. I'm always eating meat. I'm always eating cheese. I'm always eating nuts and all sorts of things. So I hope you like this video. You only need 1 scoop of protein powder, but if you're gonna eat a chicken or a steak, eat a ton. Not a ton, but eat how much you need. And have a good day. Oh, and like and subscribe. And I know I'm not like the thinnest person, my body fat could be lower, but personally, I only lose weight if I know a specific date that I'm preparing for. Like right now, I'm thinking about bodybuilding competitions, but I don't know when I'll enter some, so I don't have the motivation to really go hard and lose weight, because I'm happy at this weight for normal everyday life. I feel good, I eat most things I want,